Hello, hello, hello. Waiting for some people to roll in here. I'm going to lay down some heavy esoteric thought here today that is right on point and purpose for what's going on in your life. Now, you're going to have to open your mind and put on your thinking cap. And I'm assuming because you're one of my followers that you like, hey Anand, how are you, buddy? My friend from India. I'm assuming that you like to dive deep and that you like to contemplate beyond the surface. And so, hey Michelle, thanks for joining. So again, open your mind and put on your thinking cap, but the things I'm going to share with you can profoundly impact your life in a powerful and positive way right now in what we're dealing with in the world. Let me start off with quoting Einstein. Einstein stated, "The field is the governing agent of all matter." The field is the governing agent of all matter. Now, I know that's a bit esoteric, and if you don't know that term, esoteric means that which is understood by a few. All right? Quantum physics is pretty esoteric, as are a lot of spiritual traditions. But the field is the governing agent of all matter. What we now know in physics is that all creation comes out of the field. And what does that mean? Well, it means that all creation comes out of the unmanifest. Now, this is not a new idea, because if you were raised in the Christian tradition or the Jewish tradition or the Islamic tradition, every single one of them use the Old Testament. So you go to the creation mythology of the Old Testament and it says, all was dark and void. Now, we like to say that God is light. Everyone wants to say God is light. Hey, Flo, God is light. And God is light, but now I want you to think in a different perspective here. Maybe this is the first time you've thought about it. All was dark and void, and then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Now, I want you to think about this. Because if God is just light, which so many people want to say God is light, then, where was God when there was no light? If all was dark and void first, then God had to be living in the darkness. Are you with me on this? God had to be living in the darkness first. Now, how does this apply to what's going on in our life? Because all seems to be dark for many of us right now. All seems to be void for many of us right now. All of us seem to be in the field right now. But the field is the governing agent of all matter, according to Einstein. It's in the space that everything begins and comes from. That's the place of creation. Does that make sense to you? Man, this is great stuff, if I have to say so myself. I hope you're getting this. Most people don't. Most never will. I hope you'll be one of the few. Now, again, I know that's pretty esoteric, but let me give you one more piece of science. What we know with the invention of the Hubble telescope right now is we could trace back with the Hubble telescope to... Yes, Sly, God is there. God's in the darkness. Right now, what appears to be dark is the creative field. And so, again, we know with the Hubble telescope, we can trace all the way back to 14 billion years ago or so, and everything, boom, with the Big Bang came out of one singularity. But here's what we know. In nanoseconds of that big explosion, 95% of what came out of that explosion disappeared. And we now call that dark matter. And I could talk about that one for a day or three, but I'm not going to. Dark matter It holds the entire universe together. You live in a 5% universe. 5%, everything you see, you can touch, taste, smell, feel, and see, is 5% of what exists here. You get that? It's in the space between that creation comes forth. And that's where you are right now. Let me give you a couple of examples. You know, if you like music like I do, I love music. It's a space between the notes that creates the music. Let's look at Beethoven. Dun, 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 dun. It's a space. If there was no space, it would just be dun. Do you follow me on this? That's not music. That's a note. It's the space between the notes that gives it its intensity, that gives it the feeling, that creates the music. Let's look at art. You know, Bersabeh, my wife, is a brilliant artist, an incredible painter, and she's very humble, and she'll say, no, 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 no. But she's really, really, really good. And every single picture, I don't care if it's a Bersabeh or a Picasso or whomever it is. Every single picture has a frame around it. Or at minimum, if it's just a canvas, it has a gap. It has a space. You hang it on the wall, you put space around it. If you butt it up against everything, that's not art. That's chaos. You follow me on this? Another, a movie. You watch a movie. You think that Brad Pitt or The Rock is moving across the screen. They're not moving. They're not moving at all. What it consists of is a bunch of still frames. Here's what's happening when you're watching The Rock in one of his movies. He's here, and then he's here, and then he's here, and then he's here. And there are 24 frames per second with a space in between. Now, that's really, really fast, but our mind tricks us into thinking it's a continuous movement. It's not a movement. That's an illusion. Hey, Danielle. God bless you, sweetheart. I haven't seen you in a long, long time. Look, that's an illusion. It's picture. It's very fast, but it's the space between the notes. It's the space around the artwork. It's the space between the pictures in a movie that create the movie. And so the point is this. Are you getting this? I'm curious. Is there a metaphor here? Yes, I think there is. It's from the space, or what science Einstein calls the field, that all creation springs forth. And so right now, you're in the field. You're probably not working unless you're highly unusual and you're considered an important job. I don't know what the technical term is or what they really call them, but few people continue to work. Doctors, nurses, who are our heroes right now. But you're probably not working. You're in the space. What are you doing right now in the space that God, life, universal intelligence is giving you? What most people are doing is they're wasting it. They're wasting it feeling sorry for themselves. Life is not fair. Well, guess what? Life is not fair. It's not fair. Get over it. Deal with it. I have to. Life is not fair. But you can either feel sorry for yourself or you can make something work for you versus against you. You see, the difference between an amateur and a leader is the amount of time that they take to feel sorry for themselves. I'm not saying you won't feel sorry for yourself. I certainly have, more times than one. But, the amateur does it for a long time. And the leader does it for a little bit of time and then gets back on his or her horse and gets after it. You're in the space right now. When I was in prison, in a 10 by 12, I wasn't going anywhere. And I could sit around and feel sorry for myself and talk about how the system wasn't fair and I got dealt a raw deal and all these kind of things. And I did a little bit, okay? I'm not Superman, even though I do have superhuman capabilities, and so do you. Super meaning to rise above. You have to stop thinking like a human. You have to think from a higher perspective. You have to operate from principle versus problems. Because practice always follows principle. When you understand the principle, the field is the governing agent of all matter, then your whole life changes. You know, what are you doing with this space that God has given you right now, that Spirit has given to you? What are you doing with it? What are most people doing with it? They're sitting around feeling sorry for themselves. They're oversleeping, thinking, what's the use? They're laying on the couch. They're comfort eating and stuffing themselves. They're binging on Netflix. Okay. Let me tell you something. Life has given you a gift. Are you going to seize it? I really hope you will. Most won't, but a few will. And I hope you'll be one of the few. Because what I decided in prison was that I was going to make that some of the best time of my entire life, even though it sucked. I remember the motto from the Navy SEALs, which I love so much. They say, embrace the suck. Yeah, it sucks, you know. It sucks for me to stand in line for toilet paper. It sucks when people won't look you in the eye. It sucks when you go to the grocery store and they have the floor marked off and you have to stand 6 feet apart, and the line to get, you know, there's nothing on the shelves and the line to get groceries is an hour long. Yeah, it sucks. But I'll tell you what, it could be a whole lot worse. Embrace the suck. Become a champion. Step up. Decide right now. This is a gift that God has given you. And be a leader. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. What I did when I was in prison, I read, I studied, I meditated, I journaled for 14 hours a day. While most people binged on television for 16 hours a day or slept for 16 hours a day. I made a decision that I was going to come out of there a bigger, thank you, Laura, I appreciate that. Right back to you, sweetheart. I made a decision I was going to come out of that situation a bigger, better, wiser, more awake, more compassionate, loving man. And I did. And I never would have done that had I not been given that gift. The gift wrapped in pain. The gift that sucked. But I chose to embrace the suck. And I became better for it. And that's what I'm challenging you to do right now. You know, look, you can stand a year from today and look back on this time and go, oh my God, you know, I had time off work for weeks. I had, you know, plenty of time to read great books and to invest in myself. I had plenty of time to meditate and to journal and to grow. And what did I do? I wasted it. I wasted it. And I may never get that opportunity again. I mean, when do you get the opportunity? Yeah, and you know, it's not comfortable because we all have to pay rent and we have to pay utilities and all that. And maybe we're not getting paychecks. I'm not. Maybe you're not either. And it's not comfortable. But at the end of the day, you know, feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to change it. So what can I do? More importantly, what will I do? I'm challenging you today to use the space, because it's the space between the notes that creates the music. You follow that metaphor? It's from the silence and the space that all things are born. Let there be light. How you're responding today is creating your tomorrow. On the flip side, you could stand a year from today and look back and go, man, you know what? I took advantage of it. Life gave me a gift, and I leveraged it, and I utilized it. And I'm a bigger, better, stronger, more awake, more alive, more compassionate, more loving human being. And the choice is yours. Thank you, Danielle. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Choose wisely, because opportunities like this, again, it sucks. There's a lot of things, but you can look at either side of the coin. It sucks, but we're not going to change it until we change ourselves. I choose to look at the opportunity, and I'm going to encourage you to do the same. Look, I hope this is helpful today. Bersabeh and I, come over. Can you come over and say hello, Bear? Can you hear me? Yeah. Bersabeh and I love you, and we're here to support you, and we've ramped up our videos, and Facebook won't allow me to put a link in for whatever reason. There's some glitches in social media. So you'll see above my head, I put my web address, but it's not a link, because if I put a link in, hey baby, if I put a link in, then they won't post it. But look, on jamesarthurray.com, we've got all kinds of resources for you. What do you have? Do you want to share anything about what to do in the space, Bear? Did you hear what I was talking to him about? Talking with him about?
Yeah, everything you said is great.
Everything I said is great. Come on, I know you got something to add.
No, just utilize this time while you have it. Do the things you always couldn't because of work or because of whatever. Now just use it.
Yeah, use it, because you may never get this opportunity again.
Yeah.
You might not. Okay. So yeah, we've got hello beautiful, says Denise.
You're too kind.
She's really smart, actually.
Okay.
She gets embarrassed, Denise. But nonetheless, look, go to jamesarthurray.com. We have free coaching opportunities. I'm putting out a daily blog every single day to my email list. If you'll just opt into the blog, there's daily messages that come out absolutely free, because we want to support you. And we've created an online community during this time where you can get 4 coaching sessions a month with Bersabeh and I live on Zoom. And it used to be $97 a month, and we've lowered it down to $13.97 to support you, just to cover costs and to support you during this time. So look, 4 coaching sessions live via Zoom. You have a community, for $13.97 a month, which is about a Netflix price. That's less than a cup of Starbucks per week to invest in yourself and in your future. And that doesn't even count that when you join hashtag Project Stay Home, you also get over 200 hours of pre-recorded sessions that we've done in the past when people were investing $97 to be members. And so we've really lowered it down just to cover costs and be there for you. That's one thing. We've got many other things. Just visit jamesarthurray.com. Opt in for the blog. It's free. Get a free coaching session. We're giving that away as well. Thank you, Cecilia. That's nice. Bersabeh gets all the compliments most of the time. But nonetheless, anyway, thank you for being here. Hopefully this has been uplifting and inspiring for you. That's my great prayer. And I appreciate you being part of our online community. God bless you. Stay strong. Take advantage of this space, because the field that you're in right now is the governing agent of all matter. And how you're responding today is creating your tomorrow. God bless. Love you lots.